Alright, we're back again. It's Netrunner, and today I was just going to show y'all some of the stuff that I've found along the way, and I'm sure there's much more out there, but just show you some of the stuff that I found that if you're a new player, you can, if you just start searching around Netrunner, you can find some cool stuff. Some of it's there just as almost a historical item because the people might not be engaging in it anymore, right? Like it could be a server that's no longer actively used after FFG ended the game from their standpoint, and some of the sites people that were running them have moved on, right? But it's still a nice piece of information that can be valuable for you. So anyway, the first one I wanted to show you is if you go to oops. If you go to, where's it at? Come on, StemHack, right here. If you go to StemHack website, you can find a lot of forums and stuff like that going on, and I'm talking about some legit information as well, some very solid. Let me go here. I think the main page looks a bit more. Taking a while. Sorry about that. Yep. So the front page, you've got a lot of just. Is it still loading here or what? It's got a lot of blogs that provide some new player information about some good teaching decks, even though they're from a more previous, time. You've got forums, videos, just a number of resources here on the StemHack page that you can look into. Right, let's check out these articles and guides. See the 2-year turn, how I learned. So you've got all kinds of stuff from back in the day that provides good information here from StemHack, but I can't remember how I did it. Now I just can't because it's been a long time. But somebody, if y'all know, put it down in the chat of how you can get access to the Slack, the StemHack Slack server. You can request it. But here is the StemHack Slack application server that I'm a part of here, and they do an exploratory romp tournament, which is again those pre-made decks that walk you through a beginner, a casual, and a tournament level deck for different factions you get to pick. They have the cash refresh tourney, which I believe that one they usually take the core set, the current core set, plus a couple of cycles, I think, and don't quote me on this, but it's something like this, like a deluxe box and a couple of cycles, or a couple of cycles, and that's your card pool, which I really like that. This is really a great way to mix up and keep things fresh, even if the game was to have ended, even though this one's still going with Nisi, right? You can have different card pools by just selecting a couple of cycles and a couple of deluxes, and then people having to work from that. One game, Star Wars the LCG, that I love as well. It uses these objective sets, which each objective comes with an objective and then 5 cards in each objective, and you put together 10 objective sets to make a 50 card deck. And that game right there, I think it's made for doing that, to where you just select say 10 objective sets from each faction and start in the game, and you are able to absolutely completely take cards that were irrelevant in the core game as far as on a competitive level, from the meta standpoint historically for that game, and make them relevant and powerful. So I think that's better for games like that, but Netrunner still has that capability in it by doing it. And so they offer the cash refresh tourney, which is cool. I haven't done much. I think they've been kind of slow because of the intercontinentals that's been going on, and maybe some other stuff. But they usually got the cash tourney going, the exploratory romp, and they also do a very unique deck thing, which is called the big deck tournament, where you literally are playing with like a 500 card deck, that and it's just pretty much the person who does the best of what they got. And I want to do that. I wanted to plan that one as well, but it was an all day Saturday thing, and I just, I didn't have the time that Saturday to do an 8 hour tournament, right? So you got that one. And then I don't know if this was done by StemHack or not, but just recently there was a tournament to where they took agendas and resources, and you were able to make them a make them your ID. So you got to use the ability on those agendas or the ability on those resources as the runner as your ID, and that was pretty cool. I got to watch Andre play some I got to watch him play some of those decks on a Thursday night. So yep. And you can go back and watch those as well on his YouTube channel. It's called Metropole Grid, Metro Pole Grid, and so I think it was called the Akirana. I might be pronouncing that wrong. Anyway, so you got StemHack with a ton of articles, and then I know you can find some way from here to get to their actual server where you can engage in conversations with people, see people talking here about different stuff. Just another community that is still going strong and is still talking about. And here's another one, the Netrunner. I can't remember what that tournament is either. It might be a part of, I just can't remember. I do apologize for that. But anyway, you got these resources here. Another one that has a lot of this going on right here is the Near Earth Hub, which I posted in my first video, because that is how you find green level clearance server right here. In fact, here's the StemHack Slack. You can find it here as well. That's how you get to that StemHack Slack server. Here's how you can get invited to the green level clearance server. You've got a Nisi tournament Discord, which I'm a part of, and it has a couple other servers to it. And you've got just all kinds of things that I'm showing you right now that are available to you. So you can go through those and just look around. Here's where you're going to find all your updates for what's going on with planned releases and any other stuff that Nisi is providing for the community. And they send out stuff relatively regular, every couple of months, maybe. It just depends. As we get into them getting ready to release this new set in December, you're going to see a lot more stuff coming from them. But a lot of these other channels, like this Discord, these Discords and Slack, and I get an email. You can sign up for an email. I get StemHack emails and all. They'll be putting those out, so you'll know they're there, and then you can hop over to Nisi, Project Nisi, if you'd like to look at them. Let's see here. This is the Nisi blog right here. Their last one was actually 8/20, which was 9 days ago, where they talked about the closing thoughts on the Continentals. They did a really cool new format where you, instead of doing a Swiss in the last round, they ended up having a you lose 3 times, you're out of the tournament situation, and I really enjoyed it. They described some of the issues that did come out of it, but as a layman of myself, I was unable to see those watching it and spectating it from my level. Let's see, this ANR sealed. This one right here will allow for you to make draft decks, and I've never done a draft before, and I hope one day I actually get to do a draft. And in fact, now that I think about it, Green Level Clearance actually does a draft format here called Snakes, Two Snakes, or whatever it is, Snakes. And basically what it does is they go through and they draft a certain card pool in the forum, and then I think they play games with those drafted cards. So there's a draft option, but I've never done a draft before, and that'll be another first for me. I hope I get to do one in person one day as well for Netrunner. And so this is a way that you can actually go in, select what cards you have or what cards you're interested in being in the a random draft, right? And then you can select the number of players, and they'll build you a randomized deck that you can put together and have a draft night. And I really need to experience a draft night before I can really explain to you exactly what it is. I think I understand what it is. You basically draft, you have your hand, you take one of these neutral IDs that have not much going on as far as abilities, I don't think, and you don't worry about all the influence and everything, and you slap that deck together and you play and do the best you can. It's a way that a lot of companies like FFG and Wizard of the Coast, who does Magic, they end up doing these draft nights at stores, and to where they get people in who purchase a draft pack, and then you go and get some new cards that you might want. It's really more I'd say valuable in a Magic the Gathering type setting where you're trying to buy and get lucky at getting cards right, and then you can trade if you've already got it or something like that, versus a LCG where everybody has access to the same pack. So if you were in a draft pack to get a particular card, you're going to get it again anyway when you go and buy the entire pack. But still, people enjoy the format, so they're willing to spend that $5-10 to hop into a draft night and get a draft pack and play some of those cards, right? And experience them in that setting. So anyway, but for people who's already got them all, this teaches you how to make, I believe they call it a cube, is what they call a deck of cards that you basically draw like 8 at a time or something like that, and you pick one and pass, and it's a draft, and it's pretty much drafting them, which is what we call in board games as well. You're drafting you're picking one card and passing it to your right, and you keep going until each person passes their deck around until it expires. Everybody's selected all the cards, or almost all the cards, and then you discard the leftovers. However, it just depends on how that works. So another guy that I caught up in, and I hate that I caught him too late in FFG's maintenance of this, because he was active a while back. I need to go back and watch some of these now that I've kind of learned more of the card pool, because again, I can't necessarily watch a lot from cards that I haven't played yet personally, because it's hard for me to like grasp it while somebody who's confident and understands what they're doing with them is talking about it at a rapid rate. But I've seen a lot of these cards now, so I could actually go back and experience some of them and enjoy this. So anyway, this Biokins, he's a very sharp fella that I've watched some of his stuff and listened to him on, and he puts together some interesting stuff. To include, I remember this one video where he put together a deck just to beat the one of the top decks in the meta that had been wrecking everybody. He actually built a deck that was super proficient against that, just to do it. Because the problem whenever you start making what I believe they call meta calls, I just recently learned this and I could be using it wrong, but whenever you start getting into meta calls and you're making a decision on your deck to beat a particular deck, that doesn't mean that deck's going to be strong against the rest of the decks. So if you end up getting unlucky and not playing that deck in the tournament on a regular basis, you've put yourself in a position to be weak against other type of decks. So that's the challenge of a meta, as you're trying to put together a deck that's not only good against the top decks, but is also good at a broad spectrum of competitive decks, right? And I have no clue how to do any of that. I'm only speaking from an outside perspective here in conversations. I hope to one day have the opportunity to attempt my hand at putting together a competitive deck and playing at a high-end tournament but at this point, those aspirations are a long away for me. I really want to know more of the decks here, more of the cards in the card pool, the existing card pool and the old one. This one here, I think you could probably still find some Android Netrunner stuff on Team Covenant, but it looks like uh, they might have started to bury them places. So you'll have to go and hunt around on Team Covenant. But they're another great resource, especially on their YouTube videos. You can go and watch. Man, I love their tournament coverage in the past. And I started in 2012 and pretty much watched them all. And I've gotten up to about 2015. But again, still learning the card pool before I go and watch some of those later years. But yeah, they've got some great stuff to include beginner how to play videos they did right before the game. FFG ended their participation in the game. Right before that, they put out some how-to videos on deck building, on how to play. They had some playthroughs and things like that. So definitely go and check out Team Covenant. They're just, I really like them a lot, except for the fact that obviously they don't cover stuff that's no longer monetarily valuable to them and to the companies that they're pretty much, talking this stuff for. But again, I don't blame them for that. They've got to make a decision to advertise and support the games that are going to offer their business money and the business that's looking for their support. So, but from a selfish standpoint, man, do I wish Team Covenant would just, provide commentary and videos on Netrunner and Star Wars LCG still, and a couple of other the games that I absolutely love, right? So, and then finally, if you go to BGG and you go to Android Netrunner, oh yeah, and I forgot about Reddit. I don't do anything on the Reddit forum, even though I probably am eventually going to find my way over there. But I hear that's got some really good stuff going on over there. But you can find a lot of historical information and even current information in the forum section. So you just had like several just in the past several days. You still got substantial conversation going on, but you can pretty much find 13,000 forums on some sort of Netrunner conversation here and participate in that, and people are still actively responding in that forum space here. So again, check that out. Check out Reddit. So there's just some resources for you to dig into for Netrunner. If you're new, if you really just want to kind of go back and see stuff, as if you want to go back to BGG and go back to 2014, you can see real time what people were talking about Netrunner at the time, right? And so that's just the kind of stuff that I'm into. I usually like to kind of play the cards of that year, right? That year time frame, so I can understand what people are talking about, and then kind of go back and look at what people were talking about them at the time. As far as YouTube channels, I recommend. There's a guy I just recently found, and he's got some really cool stuff on the core set, as well as talking about data packs and how to deal with account siphon and various other cards and combos like Scorched Earth. He's got some videos like that. His name is Willing Done, WILLINGDONE. I've been watching his stuff lately, but again, he's not doing any new stuff, and there's only so much there unless you want to go through data packs from 2014 on to for a certain period. He was going through each card of each data pack and explaining what he thought about it. So that's some cool stuff that I kind of do when I'm working out in the gym. I'll just have that on and just kind of listen to his take on cards and things like that. That's something I can do passively. I can't sit there and watch somebody play Netrunner while I'm working out or doing things like that. So that's just a way that I do two things at once. That's kind of something I do there. Willing Done, again, the Team Covenant tournament coverage. Metropole Grid with Andre. That's the one I'm really watching right now. And Andre, he's on Twitch. you can go and watch him live and conversate with him. And one thing I love about Andre is he don't miss a comment, and it's amazing to me. Again, for him to be able to play Netrunner, talk with all these different people, and then also commentate on what he's doing, it's absolutely fantastic. And I'm telling you, it's fast paced for a new player, but you still can pick up stuff and you never feel bored because his speech pattern, his flow is high speed, and I enjoy that. I like that high speed. Unfortunately, I can't do it. You hear me, old country, slow talking dude, but man, I love getting information at the rapid rate, and I enjoy. And he's just got a nice, very nice flow to his speech, and I enjoy listening to him and watching his commentary and his play. So definitely check that out, and you're either on YouTube after the fact, and he does it live on YouTube as well. I go and watch him live on Twitch, and then I watch him after the fact on YouTube as well for the stuff I can't catch. So check him out. There's some other guys here. I'm trying to think. I'll have to post a few more guys in the link. I know I'm missing probably some important ones because I'm subscribed to several Netrunner guys, even though a lot of them aren't active anymore. That I'm still going back and watching stuff from back in the day. I'll put some links to those YouTube channels for y'all to check out. But ultimately, there's just just a huge amount of information out there about Netrunner that you can go and grab outside of just getting into forums and talking with folks, and outside of just getting on some of these servers and talking with folks of anything you need. So if you're people like me and you're like, man, I love this game, I want to know what's happened with it for the past, what is it now, 8 years? It's out there, and you can go be a historian just like me. And in a future video, I'm going to show you a document that somebody provided with me that provides some really cool going through the history of the game in PowerPoint PowerPoint form, and providing some list for each meta along the way. And I'm looking forward to working through those deck lists as well. And so I'll get to that in a future video and show y'all that. So anyway, that's it for today. I hope that a good bit of these sites, that maybe it helps somebody who didn't know about them, even though, again, I pretty much just repeated what Dan B., who put out this Near Earth Hub site recently, he's already just about done it for you here. Just go to Near Earth Hub. You can find your way around at that point to any number of great sites here, and some of them I haven't even checked out yet. Netrunner on Facebook is still active. People are still talking about it. So get out there and just engage. Obviously, if you can play the game instead of like me, who can't always play it, and you just want to pop around and just look at stuff, and you have the time to just play games, that's probably the best form to learn about it for a while. But if you don't have the ability to play and you just want to consume some Netrunner stuff, there is a ton of stuff out there for you. So anyway, I'm going to catch you guys later. I appreciate y'all checking this out, and I hope that it's valuable to somebody. So take care.